Yeah. So today we are going to look at the indole alkaloids. Then the next slide, Shina. Yeah. Okay. Let's just go there. Yeah, indole alkaloids. And in the indole alkaloids, we'll see a few. We'll focus on the pharmaceutically important ones. Majorly, we'll focus on the source, the source, the name of the drug derived from it, and the use, because that's what is usually tested. The source, the use, and the name of the drug. Yeah, so we'll start with this Rauwolfia alkaloids, or which is Rauwolfia serpentina. That's the name of the plant. Here, the drug we'll get from this is that drug called resapine. Resapine, we know resapine, it inhibits synthesis of epinephrine by inhibiting that tyrosine kinase. But we'll look at that later. But essentially, resapine inhibits synthesis of epinephrine. And epinephrine is a vasoconstrictor. So its traditional or its historical use was for hypertension. Right now, with better drugs in the market, of course, that use has declined, but its traditional use was for treatment of hypertension, and also the other thing was treatment of anxiety, because we know norepinephrine plays a role in anxiety, that fight of flight. Yeah. Yeah, that was just as a summary. But so Rauwolfia alkaloid, number one, it's an indole alkaloid, and the source is this Rauwolfia serpentina, and we derive it from the roots. From the roots, that is the main source of the alkaloid. Then it has a lot of ingredients, but the major ingredient, the pharmaceutically important ingredient, is the resapine. Next slide, Shina. Yeah, we already said it's a dried rhizome and roots of that plant, Rauwolfia serpentina. Yeah. When it was discovered, these ones we don't need to memorize all of these constituents, maybe. So we can just go next. Yeah, these are the principal alkalis, and you see in the first one, and that is the one that is important to us, is resapine. There are just cinnamon and but the most important one there, the one you shouldn't forget, is resapine. Resapine from the dried roots, rhizomes of Rauwolfia serpentina. Yeah, don't forget that. And it's an indole alkaloid. Next slide, Shina. That's the structure. So then, yeah, here it is. They use for blood pressure to slow the pulse rate. We know norepinephrine increases the heart rate. It causes tachycardia. So if I give someone something to reduce synthesis of norepinephrine, we will also decrease the heart rate. And induces euphoria after administration. With anything or other, now because it's acting on the central nervous system, this effect will be there. But okay, we are not looking at the pharmacology of the drug right now, so we can just say that lowers BP and decreases heart rate. Then the euphoria will see it as a side effect majorly. Yeah. Yeah, we already said it can be used for anxiety because it has a tranquilizing effect. Yeah. So it can be synthesized in the lab, but the natural source is more economical. Yeah. Then the other source can be also the Rauwolfia vomitoria. So, but just so the major thing, the genus, Rauwolfia genus. That's the one thing you shouldn't forget, the Rauwolfia genus. Yeah. Next slide, Shina. These are the other ingredients you see. Yeah. the we don't really focus on them pharmaceutically. They can be used for the same purpose as Resapine, but for this Rapidine, it doesn't have as much side effects as those that accompany Resapine. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let's summarize what we've seen. We've started the indole alkaloids, and for the Nini, the first plant we saw was the Rawolfia plant. Rawolfia plant, the source, what drug do we get from it? We get Resapine. Where do we get that drug from? From the dried roots or rhizomes of that Rawolfia plant. How do we use Resapine? We use it for hypertension and to decrease heart rate and anxiety. Yeah. So that's the summary. So secondly, now we have the Catharanthus. Catharanthus rosacea. Yeah. Now for this one, the source, just as a summary first. So Catharanthus rosacea or the other Madagascar periwinkle. This is the source of the vinca alkaloid. The vinca alkaloid, especially vincristin, vinblastin. Of course, it also produces other vinca alkaloids, but the most used ones are the vincristin and the vinblastin. Vinblastin for lymphoma, vincristin for leukemia. Vinblastin for lymphoma, vincristin for leukemia. So here for this one, it's most important when we're talking about cancers for the blood. So Catharanthus rosacea. What drug do we get from it? The vinca alkaloid, vinblastin, vincristin for ALL and also for lymphoma, both Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin. Okay, now let's go to pole to here it is. And it's a common. I think we've all seen this plant somewhere. It's a common plant. This Madagascar periwinkle. Yeah. The next we see that the active alkaloids exist in very small quantities. Like for example, in 50 kg of the plant, you get a really small yield, right, of vincristin. Yeah. So the yield. Okay, well, it's so small, and I think this is throughout in the generally when we are talking about extraction of stuff from plants, extraction of drugs, of oil. You'll use a lot of plant material, but the yield value is usually so little. So that's kind of general. So the next slide. Yeah, so the constituents we have seen they have this anti-neoplastic activity or anti-cancer, vincristin and the vinblastin. Those are the two most common drugs. Yeah. Uh, just a second, guys. Okay. Yeah, so vinblastin, we said it's used for both Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. For both Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Then vinblastin is unstable and it has to be stored in the refrigerator for stability purposes. Yeah, it's administered IV or orally, but vinblastin, just remember it for lymphoma. Yeah. Then we go to the next. Just we look at the pathway. Yeah. Vincristin already said leukemia, especially ALL. ALL, yeah. ALL in kids. ALL is mostly in kids. Yeah. Then there's this other one, vindesin, which is a semi-synthetic derivative of vinblastin. Yeah. So just from the name, you can be able to get that it's derived from that family of Catharanthus rosacea. And we're saying vinblastine can be converted to vincristine either using chemicals or by demethylation by that streptomyces. Streptomyces, is it a bacteria or is it a fungi? I think that one I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Maybe someone can confirm. Streptomyces is a bacteria or it's a fungi? Okay. Well, yeah. Well, you all are confirming. Yeah, we can go on.
It's a bacteria.
It's a bacteria. Nice, nice. Thank you, Hiral. Yeah. Okay. Now, before we go to the next, we've seen two. We started with the Rauwolfia family. I just want you to memorize that first name, Rauwolfia, because there are other species that can also produce this drug. So we are looking at indole alkaloids. We've started with the Rauwolfia plant. What does the Rauwolfia plant give us? It gives us the recipe. Resapine, what do we use resapine for? Hypertension and anxiety. Hypertension and anxiety. Okay. Then now we've gone to the next plant, the Catharanthus rosier, or the old name is Vinca rosier, or the common name is Madagascar periwinkle. From it, we are getting now the Vinca alkaloid, especially the most used ones being vincristine and vinblastine. Vincristine we've seen, vincristine is used for ALL, acute lymphocytic leukemia. Vinblastine is used for the lymphoma, both Hodgkin's and non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. The source, Catharanthus rosacea, or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So those are the two we've looked at under Indole. Now we are looking at the third one. The Nux vomica, which is, we're saying this is the dried, ripe seeds of this Strychnos Nux vomica. Now, from the name Strychnos, here we'll know that this plant is what gives us strychnine or strychnine. I don't know how you pronounce that. Strychnine or strychnine. Yeah, strychnine. And strychnine or strychnine, this one it's we know it's used as a poison, more of as a poison rather than as a drug. Okay, they stimulate the CNS, but they also block transmission between the brain and the spinal cord. Right, it also results in, which now can result in this tonic conversion. We know hunters used to, in the olden days, they used to lace their arrows with this stuff, so as to also try to capture not hunters, fighters between those intertribal fights. This was one of the poisons that they lace their stuff with. Yeah, but it also can be used to improve digestion and appetite, and it's used to kill vermin. Yeah, but Nux vomica, so in short, Strychnos Nux vomica is the source of strychnine, and it's obtained from the dried ripe seed. Okay, what do you get from it? Strychnine. Yeah. So that's just the plants. Yeah. The detection. Yeah. I will focus so much here on the detection because they mostly just focused on the detection of the general alkaloid. So we are remembering the Dragendorf reagent, Meyer, Hagel, Wagner's, those stuff. Those are the stuff they test. So here we can skip. Nice. Okay. So for strychnine, remember the source. That's Nux vomica. Strychnine Nux vomica. Okay, strike this Nux vomica. The other before Nux vomica, we saw the vinca alkaloids, vincristine, vinblastin, cancer. Before that, we saw in the source of the vincristine or the catharanthus rosaceae. Yeah. And then before that, we saw the other alkaloid was the Rauwolfia. Rauwolfia gives us the resapine. What do we use resapine for? Hypertension, and it also has some use in anxiety as a mild sedative too, has a tranquilizing effect on anxiety. So next we go to this calababin, that's the common name, but the botanical name is Phyllostigma venenosum. Just even from the name Phyllostigma, at least you can be able to guess that the drug we get from this is Phyllostigma, right? Yeah, from the name just Phyllostigma, you can you can guess that this is Phyllostigma, right? Yeah. Uh, the other alkaloids present, those ones, they are not really pharmaceutically important. So we can, here, just for the calababin, this is the where we get our physiostigmin. And we know how the physiostigmin is used. Yeah. Yeah. The next slide. Yeah. It is okay. It's a reversible inhibitor of the acetylcholinesterase enzyme. So let's just look at what acetylcholine does. Acetylcholine, when it binds to what, for example, when acetylcholine is released in the, let me not say, okay, acetylcholine, we know it's the parasympathetic. When we hear acetylcholine, we think parasympathetic nervous system. When we hear adrenaline, we think sympathetic nervous system. So on the eyes, let's look at on the eyes. In sympathetic nervous system, what does it do to the eyes? Remember, sympathetic is fight or flight. So sympathetic is like, for example, you see a lion. What your eyes will do, what the sympathetic nervous system will do, it will dilate your eyes. It will make your eyes, your nini wider. Dilation, that dilation. It will be wider. Why? What's the reason? So that you can see the danger really well, right? So think of it that way. That's an easy way to think of it. That once you see a lion, the sympathetic nervous system widen your eyes so that you can read a good picture of the lion. To confirm, yeah, this is actually a lion. So, what the parasympathetic system do? It constricts, because that is arresting the digest. It constricts your eyes, okay? And in this case, we said parasympathetic. When you think parasympathetic, think acetylcholine, right? And then acetylcholine, what breaks down acetylcholine is acetylcholinesterase, right? That is what breaks it down. So if I can inhibit acetylcholinesterase, sorry guys. So yeah, we said if you inhibit acetylcholine, acetylcholine builds up pupil, right? It will constrict your pupil. In short, physiostigmin mimics your acetylcholine. Physiostigmin mimics your acetylcholine. So it's an antagonist of atropine. We know atropine is an anticholinergic. And atropine fights your cholinergic nervous system. Yeah, and physiostigmin mimics it. then it will resemble pilocarpine and mercury. We will see this pilocarpine, we'll see it later when we are talking about this imidazole alkaloid. Yeah. So this physiostigmine, because it mimics acetylcholine, it will increase activity of secretory glands. We know acetylcholine leads to more secretion. It will depress the CNS because it's parasympathetic, rest and digest. So it will cause rest. But it can also cause death from failure of respiration due to paralysis of medullary center. Yeah, of course. They say what anything in excess is too much of anything is poisonous, of course. Yeah. Then neostigmine, it's not an indole alkaloid, but it's been fashioned from the physiostigmine. Now, this one, it will have the same meaning as physiostigmine, only that this one is a quaternary alkaloid. Okay, it's using the diagnosis of myasthenia gravis, and the side effects are just the same side effects you'd expect with physiostigmine. Yeah, but this one we'll see them more when we're doing pharmacology. Okay. So that's the end of indole alkaloids. So let's list them again. We started with the Rauwolfia, right? Rauwolfia genus. Rauwolfia, we say they give us resapine. Resapine, we say it's used for hypertension and it's also used for anxiety. Okay. Next, we went to the Catharanthus. If I'm off in the order, just bear with me. We went to the Catharanthus, Rosicea or Rosea, also known, the old name was Vinca rosea, and we saw it being used for what? Vinca, when you think Vinca alkaloid, so obviously it was being used, it's being used for anti-cancer activity, for leukemia, that is acute lymphocytic leukemia, vincristine, and vinblastine for the lymphomas, vinblastine for the lymphomas. Then the other one we saw next was the strychnine. Strychnine, we saw the source was this Nux vomica. So it depresses it stimulates the CNS, but it also interrupts transmission between the CNS and the between the brain and the spinal cord. So it can be used as a poison. Like that's not a drug to play around with. It's not a drug to play around with. Yeah. Then the next one now was the physiostigmine. Yeah, nice. Physiostigmine. Common name Calabar bean or Odile bean. And the botanical name that Physiostigma venenosum. But Physiostigma, that already the genus name gives it away. Physiostigma. Physiostigmine, majorly we looked at its pharmacological action. It mimics acetylcholine. So in the eyes, it will cause contraction of the pupil. In your body, it will cause more secretion of stuff. Yeah. Now, next, that's it for.
You had discussed the ergot alkaloids.
I'm not sure.
We discussed it
told me it had been discussed.
Oh, okay, fine. Okay, that's okay then.
Okay. So next is the imidazole alkaloid. The imidazole alkaloid. And in the imidazole alkaloids, majorly, here we just have pilocarpine. Pilocarpine is the one that deserves mention in this group. Pilocarpine, we saw it being used for glaucoma. It's being used for that dry mouth, at xerostomia, because pilocarpine also mimics acetylcholine. Like they both pilocarpine and physiostigmine. They mimic acetylcholine. Source of pilocarpine, again, the name gives it away. Pilocarpus jaborandi. So pilocarpus definitely, that's the source of pilocarpine, right? Now, for pilocarpine, it's a cholinergic used in treatment of glaucoma, and it causes contraction of the pupil in the eye. Yeah, we already explained all this stuff. Yeah. Then anatropine antagonist, yeah. So bronchial contraction, we know in asthma we give antimuscarinics or anticholinergics, so cause it will cause contraction. It will increase lacrimation because it causes increased secretion. Remember, just when you think pilocarpine, remember it mix acetylcholine. So in terms of imidazole and alkaloid, you just have your pilocarpine there. That's the one that deserves to be mentioned. The source, Pilocarpus jaborandi. Yeah. Nice. Now let's go to the purine basis. The purine basis. Now, to take you back to what Stanley discussed yesterday, we saw there are three classification of alkaloids. The first one was the true alkaloids. The second one was the proto-alkaloids. And the other one was the pseudo-alkaloids. And we saw in true alkaloids and in proto-alkaloids, they are synthesized from amino acids. That's why we call them true or proto-alkaloids. Okay. But when we look at the pseudo-alkaloids, pseudo it means just like alkaloids, but not really. So in pseudoalkaloids, so the main difference here is that these ones they are not synthesized from amino acids. They are not synthesized from amino acids. Yeah. And a good example in that case was caffeine. Caffeine. And we will see caffeine under this purine basis or purine alkaloid. Yeah. So caffeine, it's a pseudo alkaloid. Yeah. So there are three pharmaceutically or pharmacologically important in this category. We have caffeine, we have theophylline, and we have theobromine. Caffeine, we know it will be used it's in the tea, right? It's there. It's caffeine stimulates, right? Just even just from without going so deep into how it works, we know what caffeine does. It stimulates someone. So already you can think caffeine with things like tachycardia, stimulating the CNS, such things. Theophylline, we remember theophylline from asthma. Theophylline was a bronchodilator. Yeah. Then theobroma, we know it's the ingredient in chocolate. So theobroma will be used mostly in this flavoring or rather in chocolate stuff. Okay. Now let's go to one by one. That was just a summary. So let's start with caffeine, right? So caffeine, it's a white powder with a bitter taste. But it's a blind without decomposition on heating. But the third point is our focus that caffeine is a CNS stimulant. Someone tells you I've not taken my caffeine yet, so they're just feeling off. Okay, they can be obtained from tea or coffee and also from the cola nuts. Yeah, so I think that's it about caffeine. Yeah, used. We already said in beverages. Yeah. Then coffee bean. Side effects. Yeah, we can just go to the side effects. Oh, the other thing is caffeine is a diuretic. By the way, caffeine is a diuretic. Yeah. Yeah, caffeine in coffee is mainly, but caffeine as diuretic. But it's a GIT main diuretic. Yeah, it's a diuretic. Yeah. So side effects, we'll see. It can cause tachycardia. Remember, we said it stimulates. It can cause tachycardia. It can cause that nervousness, insomnia, and even tremors. Why? Because it stimulates the CNS. So it can cause that insomnia. That's why you don't want to be taking caffeinated beverages just before bed. Or rather, when we'll see November 6th approaching, we'll be taking this caffeinated stuff during bedtime so that we don't sleep, right? Yeah. Yeah, so then next we go to tea contains caffeine. Yeah, this one, yeah, just mentioned. We can skip this. Yeah, theophylline. Theophylline. Okay. Theophylline, it can be obtained from tea or the tea buds of Camellia sinensis, or previously known as the Thea sinensis. Thea sinensis. This is where you'll obtain your theophylline, right? Then they are good smooth muscle relaxants. Smooth muscle relaxants. We know asthma. In asthma, there'll be that bronchoconstriction. But you give theophylline. Why? Because it's a bronchodilator. They relax that smooth muscle. Okay. Yeah. So it also has that diuretic property. It has a dilating action on the pulmonary vessels and relieving asthma. It's what you say. Yeah, relieving asthma and lower venous pressure because of that broncho. Because they relax smooth muscles even in the bloodstream. Aminophylline, if you inject it in the venous system, it will relax the knee. So you'll find it in the emergency tray as a emergency medicine. Yeah. So next is theobromine. We obtain it from Theobroma cacao, right? Like its brothers, it's also a diuretic. It has a diuretic activity, and it also relaxes smooth muscle. Okay. But majorly theobromine will see it in chocolate for flavoring. That's where theobromine majorly is. Yeah. Okay. Now before we go to steroidal alkaloids, we've seen the purine alkaloids. Then we've seen the three major: caffeine, theobromine, and theophylline. Caffeine, we know tea, right? Caffeinated tea. We know majorly caffeine will be found in the beverages. And caffeine, just from our basic understanding, we know caffeine is a CNS stimulant, right? So, side effects you're expecting from it are stuff such as anxiety, insomnia, the tremors, yeah, yeah. Then the other one was theophylline, and for all three of them, we've seen all three of them have this diuretic activity. All three of them have this diuretic activity. Uh, so then theophylline majorly we've seen it being used for asthma, and we've seen a derivative of theophylline is something like aminophylline. It's an emergency medicine. It's used even for the same asthma indication, bronchodilation effect. Then finally, theobroma. Theobroma, we've seen it. It's for majorly chocolate. You see it's majorly being used in flavoring of chocolate. Yeah. Remember, for the purine alkaloid, you see they are not true alkaloids, they are pseudoalkaloids. Why pseudoalkaloids? Because they are not synthesized from amino acids. Let's take a 10-minute break, people. We meet at 8:20 to start from steroids. Okay, guys, we are back. We are back. It's 20. So the remaining was a very small part. But it's small part. I know a lot of things. I know a lot of testable things. There's steroidal alkaloids. Steroidal alkaloids, just from the name, you can say they contain a steroid nearly in their structure. You remember that steroid nucleus, how it looks like, right? And the four rings, actually four rings. Uh, yeah, hapo tu ni to know that they exist. The steroidal alkaloids exist. A very good example of where they exist is in the Solanaceae family. In the Solanaceae family, they exist majorly in the form of glycoside. In the form of glycoside. I don't know if you can remember when we were talking about was it the cyanoglycoside, and we mentioned this again that there are something as steroidal as colloidal glycoside. So it's the same thing, yeah. Especially in this Solanaceae family, yeah. The others we can just skip. After Apple is just stuff being listed in the next slide. Yeah, so yeah, I can skip that. Well, yeah, this stuff they're not even really testable for even Nelly herself being focal here. So steroidal alkaloids, just remember that Solanaceae family is one of the uh, implicated one. Yeah. So next we go to the next slide, Shina. Yeah, the next one after this. Also, yeah, after this now. The where we see Mira. Yeah, nice. The tapping, yeah. Yes, apogee, yeah. The terpenoid alkaloid. The terpenoid alkaloid. The terpenoid alkaloid, yeah. The only one that deserves to be mentioned is the Mira, the Kappa edulis. That's the botanical name for Mira, Kappa edulis. You know, the common name, or rather the English name is Cat. The other name is Mira, yeah. And we know in Kenya, it's majorly found in the Meru region. Uh, the chief alkaloids found in Mira, there is pseudoephedrine, and the other alkaloids they are listed there, but the major one is to know even Mira, the one is to remember is cathinone. Cathinone is it's what gives Mira the addictive component. It's what makes Mira be abused as a drug. That cathinone. We know Mira is a legal drug, right? Yeah, if you are found chewing Mira, no one will bother you. But if you are found with a cathinone, that is a crime. Cathinone is you can say cathinone is the active ingredient of Mira, right? It's what is considered the CNS stimulant of the fresh plant. Yeah. Uh, the next slide will see that cathinone and amphetamine, they have a similar they have a similar action. And we know amphetamine. Amphetamine, even from the movies, you know what amphetamine can do. Amphetamine, methamphetamine, those are all one family. Yeah. So action, especially drivers will use it to suppress sleep because it's a CNS stimulant, right? Drivers will use it to suppress sleep. Other people will use it to suppress hunger. I think Danny Chai once ever told me that he uses it to suppress his libido. Yeah, the other thing can also be used for sleep because it suppresses hunger. It suppresses hunger, so it can be used for sleeping. So if a patient comes to you and they're trying to lose weight, don't be afraid to recommend Mira. Yeah. So Mira, the botanical name, Catha edulis, it's a terpenoid alkaloid. The oral contains terpenoid alkaloid. And the most important active ingredient you need to remember from Mira is the cathinol. Cathinol is the good stuff. It's what gives me it's economical use even as a drug. Yeah. Next we go to this the next thing was it peyote. Yeah, peyote, which the botanical source Lophophora williamsi. Here what I just want to mention is that mescaline here is the principal alkaloid. And we know mescaline, it has some effect on the CNS as a hallucinogen. Even other drugs that you can obtain is the LSD. You know, LSD is a banned drug, yeah, which is also a hallucinogen. So this Lophophora williamsi, Lophophora williamsi, yeah, that is the source of your LSD, your mescaline, you know, all of these things are controlled drugs, Schedule 1. They're not even used medically. Yeah. I think that is it for alkaloid. So just to summarize or to mention again the important alkaloid that you shouldn't forget is the anti-malarial, where we have the cinchona or cinchona species, where we get our quinine, we get our quinidine. So don't forget that one. That one is a major one. The anti-malarial, and the other one is the atropine, atropa belladonna, the tropane alkaloid. Yeah, atropine, scopolamine. Yeah, those two. At least if you have to forget everything about alkaloids, don't forget the cinchona species and the Atropa belladonna, the family, that family where we have Atropa belladonna, Datura stramonium. Yeah, those. Don't forget those two. Don't forget those two. Yeah. I don't know if Stan has come back or still disconnected. Okay, still not here. Yeah, if someone has something to add on alkaloids, now is the time. Yeah, because otherwise we are done with alkaloids. Tomorrow we'll be doing the practical techniques and then we'll revise the papers as from tomorrow also. Yeah. Belinda, Liv, Sam, Sanaipei, say something. Ata mute. Shina, I guess then we can stop the recording and